Hey, what's up everybody? Proper here, and today I just wanted to make a quick video while I was about ready to get to work. In regards to Indiana Jones 5, now recently Harrison Ford came out and said in an interview that Indiana Jones is his and that he doesn't want, and once he's gone, Indiana Jones is gone and it's done, and that's it. It's that simple. He said it straight up. He said, like, I'm sorry, Chris Pine, which he meant Chris Pratt. Sorry, but it's not yours, kid. Basically what he said. Even though that there are other actors who have played Indiana Jones before. There was the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles in the 90s, and of course River Phoenix and Indiana Jones of the Last Crusade. But aside from that, there are a number of reasons why I feel that Indiana Jones 5 is going to be probably the most disconnected out of all of the movies if it is released. When it is released. And part of the reason is Disney acquiring the rights, and of course the obvious, LucasFilm. We've seen what has happened with Star Wars. You can like the films that they've done, you can dislike them, whatever. Regardless, some of the things that they've done have been a little, I guess, controversial, or there's been mixed feelings from fans of what they've done. So tampering with that already and seeing what they've done with that, and we've seen some, identity politics being pushed, obviously. And with Indiana Jones, people are worried about the exact same thing. First off, I don't know if Harrison Ford will allow for that, for having a character be, thrown around like that, because unlike Han Solo, Harrison doesn't really care about Han Solo. He cares about Indiana Jones. He loves Indiana Jones. He loves playing that character. He does not love playing Han Solo. And I'm sorry to people who prefer Han over Indy, but that's just how it is. And another thing about Disney acquiring it, you're not going to have that first shot with the Paramount logo becoming some sort of mountain or something like that, or having some sort of image that reflects it. You're not going to have that. You're not going to have that kind of an opening, which is sort of like, which is a tradition in the Indiana Jones films. Kind of like how in Star Wars there was the tradition of the 20th Century Fox logo. And at the beginning of The Force Awakens, if you're watching all of them, you kind of want to have the Fox logo on it. And I guess with the Disney Fox merger, you could do that now, but it really, that doesn't matter. But that, and the fact that I'm not sure if Karen Allen is going to be returning as Marion Ravenwood. I know that I've heard that Mutt Williams, who's played by Shia LaBeouf, is not going to be returning. It was confirmed a while ago. But so that's a little strange, because what are they going to do? Sean Connery didn't want to be a part of the fourth movie, and they just killed him off. Would they do the same thing with Shia LaBeouf's character? I mean, it'd be kind of strange to just introduce him and have Marion come back and have them get married at the end, and now what? He's back to square one like he was at the beginning of the fourth film? That would suck. I wouldn't want that at all. And the final thing is that I know Harrison is obviously going to return. Steven Spielberg is going to be directing. I heard John Kasdan is not going to be writing the film anymore, which for some people that's good news. Some people who liked Solo, I mean, that's, and what he did with that, that's just too bad, But regardless, they're getting a new screenwriter, and the date was pushed back. And despite having Harrison and Steven, you're missing a key player. You're missing George Lucas. And this is very important. This is very important because George came up with this concept. This was George's creation. And I understand that he sold the rights to Lucasfilm and all that. But it would feel weird not having those three together, because those three people, Harrison Ford, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas combined, they are what make this series possible. They're the ones who've always made this possible. They're the ones who can deliver. And despite personal feelings with either Temple of Doom or the Keynote of the Crystal Skull or whatever, something just wouldn't feel right. It's just something that I've been saying a couple of times over the past few years. It seems like, it's like Steven and Harrison are just saying, like, sorry, George, you can't play with us anymore. You're out. It's just, to exclude the man from Indiana Jones it's not the same as having him not be involved in Star Wars. It really isn't. Because there was always, there's been collaborations with different directors and all that, and we're already kind of used to, George not necessarily being in the picture, in the forefront per se. But to have George not be, a producer for Indiana Jones just feels a lot more of a drastic cut away. Like, I don't even know if he's going to be involved in it. That's how bad this is. And I mean, for better or worse of how he influenced the fourth film, I still feel that having George's involvement is very important and very vital. For what it's worth, I think that, despite my feelings about Indy 4, it still feels like an Indiana Jones film. It's a weird one, but it still feels like Indiana Jones in my personal opinion. But anyways, those are my thoughts on Indiana Jones 5. I personally don't want to see any identity politics, no SJW stuff. I don't want no feminist agenda thing, because that's not what Indiana Jones is about. Indiana Jones is not about feminism. Indiana Jones is about Indiana Jones. This is about the most masculine character that you could possibly have. I mean, for what it's worth, it seems like LucasFilm, I would not be surprised if they tried to make his character look stupid in order to have, the hat and the bullwhip be given to someone else. It just, what they would probably do is just have a female, probably with, maybe with the one chick from Temple of Doom. I have no idea. But it would just feel wrong if he tried to pass down the torch to anybody, really. Because that hat and bullwhip is his, nobody else's. And I would have no doubt in my mind that Lucasfilm would try to do that. But luckily, I don't think Harrison Ford will allow for that. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Because right now, I'm a little iffy on it. I mean, the last one wasn't that great. And for the reasons that I stated previously in this video, there's some room for concern. And the final thing that I'll say on that is, it seems like all of our favorite franchises have just been ruined or screwed up. We can't even have a good season of Game of Thrones. We can't have a good finale. We can't have a good Star Wars movie come out and just be a Star Wars movie. Something doesn't feel right there. Ghostbusters sucked. Geez, I mean, the DC films were bad for a while. I mean, why can't we just have good films and just have it just work? Can we not have these things continue to happen? Recently, now more than ever, I keep hearing people say, instead of, rather than 10 or 15 years ago, back then people were excited to have new installments in their favorite franchises. Now people are like, oh great, the new Indiana Jones film. How are they going to screw that up? And that just shows how far gone Hollywood is, how much they have screwed up, and how much they have screwed the fans time and time again. And we just don't want it to happen. We don't want it to continue to happen with our favorite franchises. We just want good movies, good storytelling, a story that is worth showing to us, a story that is worth spending months in pre-production, in development, filming, in the editing room and delivering something that's just a fucking masterpiece. Why is that so difficult to comprehend? If you can't do that, if you can't make the best film that you possibly can, don't waste your time, don't waste our time, because I am sick of watching shitty movies, shitty low-grade, fucking ridiculous, politically driven films that are just shoved into these movies. I'm just sick of it. I don't want low quality and substandard movies. I want a good... No, I don't want just a good movie. I want a fucking great movie. I want to go into that theater excited, and I want to come out of that theater feeling like I just watched the greatest movie of all time. That's what I want to feel. And if you can't do that, get the fuck out of Hollywood. Because I am sick of this shit. It's not that hard to make a good movie. You just need to sit down and spend some time developing it, having people come in and just proofread your shit, make sure that it's all like internally consistent, all of that fun stuff. It really isn't that hard. I know people are, busy, they have lives, and not everyone is just going to be the greatest, not everyone's going to have the best film of all time, but it wouldn't kill to have that every now and then. For a lot of people, actually the vast majority of people, loved Endgame. It was a satisfying movie. It was a satisfying ending. Cobra Kai is very satisfying for Karate Kid fans. Take notes, people. Take notes, and just don't fuck up our movies anymore. And if you're going to even think about making another installment of a franchise that people love, do us all a favor and do yourself a favor. Sit down and just sleep on it. Sleep on it. Wake up. If you still want to do it, you better at least do the best that you can. Otherwise, just fuck right off.